if you would, or I
Yeah,
can.
sure.
I can. Actually, I just started, so
Cool. Thank you.
yeah. Subham. Shubham. Good morning
Hello.
or good evening.
Hello.
Hey, Shubham.
So it's actually good evening here,
Yeah. Yes, let's.
and your location seems to be changed or something.
Ooh, say it again. The time zone seems to have changed.
No, your location. I means your
Oh,
place
yeah.
of taking in the meeting.
Yeah, right. No, yeah. I'm trying to think. I think there's about four locations that I generally might take a meeting from. Um, this happens to be the upstairs of my house. Um, and it's kind of funny because yeah. Anyway, enough reflecting on that. Speaking of, let me open up the blinds while we wait for a couple of folks. I know Anand sent a message. I'll give you guys an update. All right, good. We've got the early morning sun here in the U.S. Just Garish, you got video today? Can't wait to see your smiling face. Garish, how was the snow? Tell you what, I just don't see any outside here. It's pretty nice here in Texas. Well, yeah. How about for you, Shubham and Marab? What's the weather like for you guys?
Here it's like winter is starting, and so like temperature will be around 20 something, and in Jaipur, 20 is like winter is
Ah,
coming up. So.
got it. Is there do the translation for me if you would between Celsius and Fahrenheit, or maybe that's actually unfair. Garish, you might know off the top of your head. 20 degrees Celsius is yeah. I don't know.
I mean, so the country where I did my undergrad is all dealing with Celsius and kilometers. The country where I live in does the same thing. So, yeah, no idea.
Okay. Okay. Oh, good. We're about 4 minutes past. Let me grab the link to the meeting minutes. And share it in the chat. So, and then let me share the. Actually, just before I share those meeting minutes, let me say this. Let me say, Jesus, good to see you. Good morning. Actually, good morning. You know what? I actually just accidentally activated Siri on my MacBook at the same time that I said good morning. So, anyway, so good. So Siri says good morning as well. So.
Yeah, good morning.
Oh, very good. So, Jesus, thanks for joining. We a little bit of context for this call. This one, and by the way, I'm curious. I'm turning my captions on just because I think last time we spoke, I got so used to reading myself talk that.
Yeah, I think it doesn't work with many people.
Oh, okay. I'm
Maybe with two people in the car because I don't see the captions option.
that's so interesting.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think I can see.
You're
Can
good.
you speak?
Yep. Good morning. I see it here as well.
Yeah,
Nice.
nice.
So, So here's the thing about Shubham joining is that I'm sorry about Jesus joining this morning is that uh, I have this really nasty habit of saying good morning to people like Shubham and Madhab, even though it's what 8:30, 8:35 their time, and so yeah, they're
Yeah, 8:36 to be precise.
precise, yeah. And they're trying to break me of the habit. So, in a way, you're not helping, I guess. Good. So, Gunjan is here as well. So good. A couple of things. Just Jesus is first time on this call, and so just I'm going to give him a quick context, and that's to say, um, it's probably time to expand this call a little bit, and maybe have a second one. I'm not sure. The reason that we initially, actually, we have 3 weekly recurring calls, and I'm not sure if everyone is aware of them. And that's not to be exclusive. That was just to try to fit into certain time zones or help everyone be able to get on a call and have an in-depth discussion. And so this one we had scheduled just before daylight savings. Or I'm sorry, we had scheduled some time ago, and we've been running it for a while. And it used to be at 7:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time, and now I think it's at 8:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time. And I think that that time still works for mostly students that have been on the project for a while and have been making all kinds of commits and PRs everywhere. Like I don't know if there isn't a repo that they haven't touched. It's been really nice. But as such, we'd really only sent out invites to a select to them, not considering that we really should just open at this point. We should just open it up. It's for anyone who has time to come. This is fantastic. So super pumped that you're here. More pumped about you being here in a bunch of ways, but one of them being that you get to meet a couple of other folks. So Subham is here on the call, Gunjan, Madhab, and Ashish. And I'm still trying to figure out if I should be saying Subham or Shubham. And Garish tells me it's probably Shubham. So with a bit of a sh on it. But anyway, guys,
Yeah, second one is more close.
is it? Yeah, Garish is usually right, so we don't need to dwell on that. We'll just move on. But no, good. So
Not include that.
I also recognize some of my corny jokes don't always translate well, so if I'm laughing at myself, it's okay, I guess. But guys, meet Jesus. He is in Monterrey, Mexico, and he is bringing any number of new people to the project, which is really exciting. And so Jesus is a really good person to get to know a bit. As I expect, he'll be fairly impactful in the community. So, Gunjan and Madhab, Nikhil and Ashish, Shubham, do you guys want to just do a quick introduction to Jesus? You guys can get familiar.
Yeah. Hi, Shoes. If my pronunciation is not right, please manage. Okay. I'm Subham Kumara. I'm from India, Jaipur, and currently I'm pursuing my BTech, fourth year CSE, and I'm contributing in layer 5 from I think 3 to 4 months, if I'm not wrong. So that's it from my side. It's nice meeting you and good to see you here.
Thank you. Nice to meet you too.
Very good. And then Ashish.
Hey, Jesus.
And Madhab is there as well. And Madhab is.
Hey, Jesus. It's Madhav here. Yeah, welcome to Lab 5. I'm a friend of, I'm also pursuing BTech in computer science. That's it.
Awesome. Thank you. Nice to meet you.
And so
It's so close.
Yeah. And then
Hello, sir. So my name is Ashish, and currently I'm pursuing my bachelor's in computer science, and currently I'm in second year. Junior to sir Shubham Bhaiya, means Shubham and Madhav Bhaiya, and they are senior to me. And so welcome to the community.
Thank you, thank you.
Hello, sir. I'm Gunjan. I'm also pursuing my computer science bachelor in India. Welcome to Layer 5. Thank you, sir.
Thanks. Thank you, thank you. Nice to meet you.
and Nikhil, if you're in a place to talk, if you're still there.
Yes, sure. I'm audible.
Yep, you are.
Yeah. Hi, sir.
Hey, good morning.
Actually, I was a bit late joining the call.
Oh, very good. We were just saying hi to Jesus, or to Jesus.
Yeah. Hi, sir.
Hi.
Welcome to Layer 5. I'm Nikhil. Currently, I'm doing my graduation at UNJPU in computer science. I've been looking at the UI part for a few times now and almost getting familiar with it. So, welcome to Layer 5. It's a very nice community, and we have got great members and a great mentor over here.
Yeah, these guys.
Thanks, nice to meet you. Thank you for your welcome.
Nice to meet you.
And then Jesus, maybe if you want to introduce.
Yeah. So I'm from Mexico. I'm interested in open source contribution. I am a coordinator here in Monterrey of a community called Open Source Software Mexico. And so there is a channel in Layer 5 Slack called Awesome, OSOM, and that is our group, our local group. So sorry if we talk in Spanish in that channel, but we are mainly from Monterrey. So our intention here is to help the Layer 5 community to grow because we are interested in the service mesh landscape. So it's nice to know you, all of you.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, very good. And Jesus, I remember I owe you a response from some of our conversation yesterday. So I'm coming back. So
Yeah, no problem.
very good. Well, gents. So there's another. So let me. So this is great. And actually, it is a bit nice that there's a smaller collection of folks of contributors on the call because then we get to go deep into what each individual is working on. And so with that, let me share the meeting minutes. As I do, I'll say that there's another senior whose name is Anand, who messaged a bit earlier saying he hopes to join, but if he does, it would be late. And so he did give a written update. And so I'm just going to capture it quickly here. Anand has put in a fair bit of work on the command line utility for Meshery, and that's called Meshery CTL. And he's currently working on building out a subcommand called version, so that you can run Meshery CTL version, and it would just spit back out the version of, well, both Meshery CTL and Meshery, because they are released together. The current version is 0.3.1, and I believe we just released that yesterday, if I recall. And so, and actually that release included kind of a decent sized feature, and it was support for WRK2, an additional load generator. And by additional, I mean that would be in addition to the existing load generator that we've had in Meshery for a little while, and that one is called it's called Fort.io, and it's used heavily in the Istio community. And so now I'm totally confusing two topics. So I'm talking about features that went into this week's release, and then I'm also talking about what Anand is working on, which is that Meshery CTL version, to have it return the version number. And so he said that he has completed that functionality to run the command line Meshery CTL and retrieve the version number as part of that. However, he doesn't have the subcommand version. He doesn't have it packaged in a subcommand just yet. So he's close. So that's good. And actually, I know Jesus, for some of your early focus, part of that I think had been oriented towards Meshery CTL as well. And so this might be, as his changes come through, it might be interesting to you to be a reviewer on that new code, so that you just continue to gain more familiarity with it. Okay. All right. So that's Anand's update. And then with that, let me hush my mouth and let any one of you guys speak up. Actually, maybe Mata, just because I know we haven't been able to catch up in a little while, maybe we can start with you because some of your changes have been landing in layer5.io on the Meshery. Let me bring it up. I'll bring it up, and maybe you can describe it to folks, and we can chat through how to knock it out, how to finish it up. So Madhab, as you come off of mute, just interrupt me whenever you do. I'm just giving people context for some of your last work. Madhab was going to essentially beautify the community section here on layer5io/Meshery, and there's a community tag. It's just this section here. It has all the right information about how to join the weekly meetings on Fridays, where to go look for the recordings, where to subscribe to the community account. It has all the right links, but that's good. But Madhab was going to try to make that a bit more attractive and get some more people clicking on it. So go ahead, Madhab.
Yeah, but I think I already PR those the work that I've done for the beautify those sections.
You totally did.
It's
and
yeah.
You know what? Now that you totally did, and I finally. You go ahead. And I finally got round to trying to give you some healthy feedback. And so give me one moment here, because let me build that branch so that we can look it over and get a good sense of, okay. Okay. So this is PR 231. I guess let me share a different app. This is taking longer than I wanted. All right. So for me, I tend to use Visual Studio Code just as a out of curiosity. Anybody else using Visual Studio Code?
Is it good for good developers?
It is. At least it has been for me. I know that some people have preference for. Girish, can you remember the name of that other IDE that some people at work at that other company were using?
Yeah, Goland.
Goland.
So that is from JetBrains. Yeah, so that's Yeah, I mean, if you have some bugs, then yeah, of course, that is definitely a good idea. But for the most part, Visual Studio Code with the Go plugin, helps for the most part. It actually uses Go Please for the code completion and intelligence overall. So it's pretty decent, yeah, for the most part. There are times when it sucks, but I mean that's just part of the free thing you get. So
Here, actually, while we're doing this, this is kind of this is some things that we don't necessarily talk about that much, and I recognize that we probably should. Here's, I think occasionally we share some tips, and occasionally we say like, hey, here's a convenient way. Here's how Git works. Here's how GitHub works, because they can be pretty confusing. One thing for me, I'll make my screen a little bit bigger, that I've found value in is some Git, some shortcuts in my Git config. So my global Git config for my user, there's a couple of shortcuts that I find I reference relatively frequently or use relatively frequently. So one of those that I've done, and I think each of the most of you on the call have probably done this already, but is to I go in and I create a couple of aliases, and there are two aliases that include this -s right here. The -s means sign off on your commit. And so whenever I type cm or I type amend, or if I type commit, git commit, it aliases to git commit -s, which means I'm always signing off, which is part of the requirement that we have as a project to ensure that everyone is adhering by a developer certificate of origin, a DCO. And so we've had conversations on that in the past, and we've got some documentation. We can kind of talk about DCO if anybody wants to. Just hit me up. But there's another one that I'm calling out right here, and it's a little bit longer, a little bit more confusing, but I aliased it to this, which is more or less like check out, and then check out a specific PR, and I'll share this command with you. But basically, it says check out a. So if I do this git checkout PR is what I named the alias, and in this case, I want to check out PR 231. When I do that, it will go over, check out that PR, switch my branch locally, kind of executes the, and then that way I'm in, I've checked out that code. And in this case, since I'm working on the layer 5 site, I'm just going to do a make site to build it very quickly. And so it's built, and now I need to share my other app so that we can take a look at the body of work that Modub had been working on. So Modub, I grimace, I wince a little bit because I'm hoping that you find this an improvement. I tried to just give you some feedback by way of augmenting what you'd done. So you beautified the mesh.
Yeah, for those buttons which you have shown just now, for those buttons I uses two PNG files, and those is over the other. So when the mouse hovers over those icons, then the icons which are on the above it disappear, and the icons which are below the icon which appears. So it creates some kind of effect. It changes its colors. Just have done here.
That's nice. I think that this is an improvement on what was there previously. And so I took what you had done and I changed it from orange to blue, and then I swapped out the PNGs that you had with some SVGs, and just kind of chose some other ones, but hopefully an enhancement on top of what you'd had. But there's a couple of things. One is I'd noted that
I would like to interrupt you. Can you switch to that community section? Yeah, the PNG of chats are overlapping with the text. So we can make this issue.
Totally.
Because community and welcomes is overlapping with the PNG or images.
Totally. That is
I think the icon should be moved a little bit lower. Okay, I can do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, guys. I need to go back to work.
sure.
But nice to meet you, all of you. So, okay, see you.
Oh, very
See
good.
you.
Yep. Talk to you soon, Jesus.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye.
See you. Bye.
Yeah, you guys are totally right. There are a couple of issues, I think, with this PR as it stands currently. So one of those is precisely what you've called out, which is the overlap. Another one is that if you look at the SVGs that are here, see right in the center of the chat, it turns blue, so it's fully transparent. If you do it here, it turns blue, it's fully transparent. Fully transparent. There's no white in the middle. Fully transparent. No, there's no white in the middle. It's great. This one, though, can be modified. This is an SVG that can be modified to remove the fill, or this white fill, hopefully. So it's not the biggest thing. It's not a real big issue.
Now we have to change this icon with this wall.
Yeah. So that would be nice for consistency. So Meshery YouTube. Nice. And then, very good. And then the other one is that this set of buttons isn't responsive or configured in a responsive way. And so if I take and shrink down the screen, things start to get, everything else is responsive and does shrink down. But these guys don't. And so the nice thing is they're SVGs. And so as long as we include some responsive CSS, we should be okay there. Lastly, I think there's one other thing, and you guys tell me if this bugs you like it does me. So the nice thing about the current style is that as a user, I can come here and say, well, there's community stuff. Okay, I can read it, and without hovering my mouse and without clicking, I can tell that when the community meets, the fact that meetings are recorded, that there's a calendar to subscribe to, I have an indication by having read this that I can do these things. Now, these things are captured in the tooltip, which Madhab had made sure to do. So it's the same actions. It's like, oh, join the community. Okay. Oh, access the community. Okay. It's the same text. It's good. I don't know what the right answer here is necessarily, but without hovering, people, I don't know, I guess it's just an open question. The question is, did we take away too much information, or is this an overall improvement, is the question.
Yeah. So if we put the text along with the icon, then the portion will be, the size of the part section will become very big. Because then we have to make a small box allotted to everyone so that the text is visible at least. That will increase the size of the section a lot. So I think hovering up and finding the tooltip is nice enough.
Okay.
Otherwise, the previous one would also be okay. Yeah.
That makes sense. Any other opinions? Any other feedback? Nice. So I agree with Nikhil that like I think while you don't necessarily see all the info without hovering, that this is still an improvement. And the problem is if you try to display all the info, you're it's going to get a bit ugly and a bit unwieldy. It might be the case that even though we're not going to display all the info until they hover, it might be the case that we would shrink these slightly or something. I don't know, but I'm also sensitive to like I don't think it's important right now, and I don't know that there's a better color, but I'm sensitive to the fact that like this site, the whole site itself, at some point will be refreshed, and as we do that, hopefully we'll have a better highlight colors. So Mata, it had been a while, but if you recall, you had used orange as the highlight color, and that was highly appropriate at the time because at the time, hyperlinks and the highlight color, if you will, was orange. We had since consolidated, if you will, we'd since moved away from that and moved to this blue. So I don't think it's important to really figure out right now, but I just wanted to say, do expect that we'll come forth with a redesign, and so hopefully we'll have better colors. Other than that, any other comments that people have on this? And then hopefully you're okay to take the code from that PR and work with that code, work with that PR.
Okay, sir.
Yes. And Madhab, since we're on you, anything else that you have to chat through?
Yes, sir. Yeah, it is shown now. It's little bit edited. Like I think this is not same that I've.
You are, yeah, you're totally right. This is what I was trying to say earlier, that I took in giving feedback, I took some liberties with hopefully enhancing what you had done. So the icons are a little bit different and the color is a little bit different, but the fact that it's circles and the fact that you hover and have that interaction and have those same tooltips, that's all your work.
Okay, I would just.
Ooh, you cut out there. What did you say, Madhab?
To make those icons responsive.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I guess.
Yeah, thank you. So Madhab, as we move forward, there's just to facilitate our conversation. I know in the agenda for the meeting we talk about, hey, as you come, be sure to reference all of your assigned tickets, and then that way we can kind of walk through them. And I wanted to, and we want to do that, but I also wanted to highlight that it might be the case that many of you, when you go to look at when you go to spend time in the layer 5 community and you say, hey, what's next for me? Do I have an open assignment? If I don't, hopefully you guys are looking through the various issues, and I know most of you are. You'll just pick up on one that you want to do, and you try to carry it forward, and that's great. I thought I would mention that much of the action is within the Meshery repo, but there are like 13 or 14 repos in total, and there are many issues in those other repos. It can be kind of a pain in the butt to like go to each one and look and see if there's open issues, and like have to navigate to each one. The thing is with GitHub, you're able to navigate across organizations, across repos, and one of the recent issues that I had created is to update the help wanted link. So in each repository's README, which, by the way, hopefully you guys are seeing some new logos. In the repository's README under the...
So I made it.
say it again. I didn't hear what you said.
Hello, sir. I made that change.
Oh, wow. Okay. Nice. So, and then just kind of finishing up that thought quickly is that there's a contributing section in a lot of the repos, and in some of the repos, that contributing section, Shubham made sure that it pointed back to the main Meshery repo. Anyway, my point is the help wanted label, this link right here, in most of the repos, wherever that link is, it's just filtering on that specific repo. But if we update that with a query like this one, you can look across all the repositories. So across all the repositories, there are 69 open issues that have a help wanted label. And so this is a bit easy, a bit more convenient potentially. So I thought I'd just highlight that.
Yeah, I will assign myself.
Nice. Thank you. Okay, so I'll stop talking. Who's up next?
Yeah, sir. Hi.
Hey, Nikhil. All right, Nikhil.
It's been a kind of a busy days for me a bit because we were returning from home. So, and after coming here, we have to settle it again. So, I didn't get a lot of time to knock out the issues. One of being that the responsive one and to remove the duplicate files. So, I'll be moving that to again and soon coming over it.
Nice. Okay. Got it. Very good. Did everyone go home?
Did everyone go home? Yeah, sir. It was a long vacation of 2 months. We came back after 2 months.
Wow. Everyone, is everyone coming back a bit fatter?
Sorry, sir?
Is everyone coming back a bit more heavy around the midsection?
Yeah, you can say that.
Very good. Okay, so thanks for that, Nikhil. Who's next?
While I was in my home, I tried to work on some issues, and currently I have no issue to work on, but I will assign myself on that particular issue you told me. So I will work on that later. Nice. My all previous PR are done, and I think one of the PR in which I and Girish have worked, and it is still open. So in Meshery, that Google sample application. If you switch, you can switch over there.
And so I think this is the one you're talking about, the Google sample app. Let's see, that one's closed. Let's go here. So this one's still open. I don't know that it should be, because I think you're totally done. I mean, has anyone taken the opportunity to deploy this sample app to test it out?
I I have played with it. It works.
Nice. And you did that in a, well, I guess it doesn't really matter. I mean, you did it inside of Kubernetes, and so. Now, is that sample app, have we only made that available on Istio? Oh, wow. I've got a very old version, I think. There's the Hipster Shop application. That's part of the Istio adapter. And then, yeah, I guess, so, guys, does it make sense that we would try to propagate that one across other adapters?
Sure. Should be very straightforward to do it.
What are your thoughts there, Shubham? Does that make sense to do? Sure. Hipster. Ooh. So Shubham gets to work on all the cool issues, I guess. The hipster stuff.
Yeah, actually, everyone is working on some cool stuff.
Yeah, yeah. So Shubham, is that so? I think you're totally right. We need to close out the original enhancement that was there. You killed it. I mean, I know it wasn't easy. It was kind of a big app. That was actually, if we go look, I believe it was a big enough deal that we ended up referencing it in the release notes of a recent release. And if we didn't, that's an oversight, because maybe it is an oversight. When did we should go back in time and call that out? So this closed on the August 14th or October 14th. Girish, do you mind editing the release notes for that particular release and calling out the hipster sample app, the hipster store?
Which version, Lee?
It would have been right around October 14th. So I'm not sure.
Okay.
Okay, good. Good. And then Shubham, actually, can you do this for me? Can you open up a new issue that as an enhancement to propagate the hipster store sample app to the rest of to the other 4 adapters?
In every other 4 repos or adapters, or in actually I have to issue one open one issue, or in all the repos?
It would be probably 1 issue per adapter repo. So it would be Linkerd, console, NSM, and Octarine. The reason that it's those 4 is it's because those 4 are stable and released. We're not seeing the other 2 right here because I think I have an old version running.
Okay, I will open the issues.
So, Girish, does it, as we look at centralizing some of the code that is common to every adapter, would that include sample applications?
That is true, because right now what we have been doing is that we've been generalizing the book info app, which is the STOs one across the board. So yes, I think that'll actually be a good thing, because when we want to compare the performance of multiple service meshes, having the same sample app, definitely helps a lot. So that'll definitely be a good thing to do. So when we start marching towards the common code for the adapters, we will also be moving the sample applications.
Okay, very good. So that's nice, actually. Shubham, your code then will have a pretty pervasive impact now that you've gotten the sample app working for one adapter. You should be able to propagate it across the other remaining four, which will be cool.
I will try my best.
Okay, I just updated my copy of Meshery. Still having some old artifacts, but a couple of things that you guys are probably noticing. One, there's 2 more adapters, so that's awesome. Garish is going to be giving a talk at KubeCon on Monday about network service mesh adapters, so that's going to be really cool. And we've got probably what are hopefully the last versions of the logos. One for Meshery, and then one for layer 5. And so, Shubham, I think the reason when you'd said, hey, you don't have any more issues, that's probably very much likely the case, and you're going to create a new one and I think pick up a couple of others. But I guess I was just curious. Yeah. If as we look at this help wanted, I'm sorry that this.
Yeah, I will assign myself in other issues. No problem.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah. Very. All right. Very good. Well, who's next?
Actually, Anand told me that he run that command and it was showing Messi CTL version 1.21. Actually, system turned off, so I don't know the password, and he just go for some work. So he just told me to say that the version is showing in the Messi CTL command that he was working on.
Got it. Okay, very good. Good. So he's made.
Hope you understand what I.
Totally. Yeah, it sounds like he's made good progress. So you're able to run Meshery CTL and have it display back a version number. And then next steps for him are he's going to move that code to retrieve the version number. He'll move that code into a sub command called version, so Meshery CTL version, and which will be great. I'm slightly concerned that the version number that was coming back for him was like 01 or 01.02.1 or 01.2 or something, that it should be 031 or 121. Yeah, that's we'll have to pay attention to that as he goes through that, because conceptually the latest version is 031.
I'm not 100% sure, but I think I'm 99% sure that version showing was 1.21.
Interesting. Okay. I'll watch out for it. Who else?
Hello, sir.
Yo, good morning. Good evening.
Sir, I have a doubt. Yes, sir. So I have a doubt that, say, in issue number 62, so where I updated the app mesh in functional section of landscape, sir, there I provided a link of the Meshery app mesh. So, sir, is that correct, or do I need to replace it with AWS app mesh link?
Yeah, good. You replace it with AWS app mesh link. And maybe I can help give some context there. And that is, there's a number of issues that say things like add this service mesh to the landscape. There's a few of them that kind of add this. And so as you do, I like the one for app mesh, and it's the same for the rest. That I'm sharing my screen, right? No, damn it. Okay. No, okay. But as you do, as and when when your PR lands, we will see a new entry. It will probably be right at the top.
Yes, sir.
App mesh, and yeah, when you hover on it and when you click it, like the other ones, it will describe app mesh specifically, and when you click it, it'll probably take you to an AWS, an Amazon page.
Okay.
And so yeah, you'll it's a little bit of the task there is a little bit of a research project, because in order to fill in all of the fields about what app mesh is capable of, that means doing a little bit of research to see if it supports TLS or if it supports each of the variety of functional capabilities down below, because in your PR, you'll have an entry for app mesh here under categories. It'll be relatively simple. But down below, you'll also have an entry in the non-functional YAML, within which
Yes, sir.
you'll need to do a little bit of research about, when it was released, and which is all very public information. It's readily available. The one that's probably, so this is probably pretty easy. The one that's a little bit harder, is here. Is to try to fill in some of those details. But give it your best shot. If you can't find something, like you're not sure if it's multi-tenant or not, then just put a question mark.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. I will definitely look into it.
Nice. Good question. Anybody else? Oh, actually, Shubham just mentioned. I just saw your message in chat about, hey, if there's you're saying if there's a link to the KubeCon videos or specifically to Garish's talk, to share that. Absolutely, yes, absolutely. Moreover, since you guys are within the community, you can get early access to the slides, which is going to talk all about Meshery and show off your work. And actually, I was chatting with Harshi. So it's going to show off mostly the NSM adapter. And you guys have maybe talked to Harshini once or twice. She's been around here for quite some time. I was talking to her a lot very early, a few hours ago. And when we had submitted to present Meshery at the conference, I had originally submitted with her as a presenter. We were going to have her fly out to present. That didn't end up happening, but the reason I mention it is because if you guys are inclined, then at some point, if you're here long enough, and if you've done enough things, I'm going to be looking for opportunities to have your blog posts published, to put you on stage, to do some of these things. If you're not inclined, that's fine. You don't have to do it. But if you are, we'll be working towards trying to do that for you. So the reason I went back to this is because there's actually an open issue, Shubham, on helping get a few of these. Nice. And so Shubham, I'm making a mental note about your inclination to talk, to give a talk. there's an issue that was just opened here, and it's the Add NSM Con. That's the name of the conference. It's at KubeCon. It's a sub conference called NSM Con. Add the NSM 2019 talk. Here's a link to the schedule where you can see Meshery is on that schedule. But and Gunjan already commented, and I totally missed this. Yeah. Oh, okay. Got it. Nice. So Gunjan, this is perfect. This is actually why I was bringing it up, is to say that we've given a number of presentations, and we actually need to come back and sort of backfill post all of these presentations. And so I was just so Gunjan, it sounds like I owe you some information here. But I'd like to go. I'm going to try to go create a few issues so that you guys can hopefully help and assist in getting some of the prior talks up. This is really the only place that I kind of keep up to date on talks that are being given. Sometimes you hear me talking about them in meeting minutes, but I don't tell you guys about all of them just because not all of them are relevant to Layer 5. So I mentioned this link really just to say that some of the talks that we need to go back and represent on Layer 5 IO are within here, because some of them have very much so been about Meshery. So last DockerCon, there was an open source summit held on service meshes, and boom, here it is. We were talking about the service mesh landscape. I showed a few hundred people the landscape, and I'm curious if within here we called out the contributors as well. But anyway, when you guys get to it, you'll see, and hopefully you'll see some of your faces in there too. So okay, I know we're getting close to time. So did anyone have anything else to chat through? Maybe a different question is, who doesn't have a big, who's not being challenged? Like who's looking to be pushed a little bit harder, or maybe another way of asking this is that, and I see Gunjan coming off the mute.
Me. I will try.
So I want to try something harder.
Nice. There's
Same here, sir.
Okay, for Ashish as well. Okay, very good. I'm thinking about what those are. There's you guys don't have to sign up for any of the things that all of the things that I say. There's one thing that's top of mind for me, and it's in some respects harder because getting UI right is hard. Harder too because it would probably move at a fairly fast pace, and it's more or less like trying to create Meshery.io, the new site for Meshery.io. When Girish gives his talk next week, we're going to be telling a lot of people like, "Hey,
I'm in for that."
In Madhav, you're saying you're interested on that one?
Yeah, sir.
Nice. That's fantastic. So for my part, I'm gonna go try to identify a Jekyll theme that is a good starting point, and just kind of start iterating on it, and pointing you guys to it, and making sure that you have permission to that repo, so that you can jump in, and a lot of it will just mostly be like a transcription, if you will, a translation from what's on the Meshery page today over to just a different format, hopefully to something that looks better. The reason that we might have to do it relatively quickly is because when Girish gives his talk on Monday, there's a lot of people that are going to be saying, wait a second, what's Meshery? I don't know what that is. Where do I go to find? Oh, you just go to meshery.io. Oh, okay. And So I expect we're going to get quite a bit of traffic, not in part because of Garisha's talk, also because between the two of us, we're giving another talk, and we're doing a couple of book signings. And so we're just going to be telling all kinds of people about Meshery. So good. So I'll take that initial action item to go get a repo going. Make sure you've all got access to it. Try to get a Jekyll theme chosen so that then we can just start. I'll try to lay out the colors as well, and make sure that you guys all have access to the new logos because you're going to need to reference them. I think a fair bit. Some of those logos, I did put some of the Meshery logos into our community drive, but they actually need updated because I think they're like a version behind. So with that, we're at the top of the hour. And I realize now I actually am tardy to my next call with the Linux Foundation, so I need to go. Does anybody have anything real quick? Or everybody good? Let's see if your faces are in here. Oh, there they are. Or some of your faces are in here. Actually, not really. This is a long time ago. Damn it. None of your faces are in here. All right. Also, in the community folder, there's a file called contributor collage. I don't know if this is the right solution, but I do want to create a collage of your faces. And this is horrible and doesn't look good. We got to find a different solution. If you guys are interested in that, there's an open issue I think it's in the Meshery repo that says maybe we should check out this project that helps with recognizing contributors. Oh, damn it. I'm not sharing again. Is that right? Have I not been sharing this whole time? Man. So it's issue number 399. This is probably a good one for you guys to look into because honestly, this is about recognizing you and what you've done. I don't know if this is the solution. Maybe it is, but maybe we should try it out and see what it looks like. I'll put a link to it. Nice. I'll toss the link into the Slack as well. And now I need to